Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. It is 4 p.m. and this is a meeting of the Acushnet Board of Selectmen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, do I have a motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For everyone out there, today is the first meeting with new interim town administrator attending, Mr. Jamie Kelly. Mr. Kelly, welcome to your first meeting with the Board of Selectmen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Hey, gentlemen, second on the agenda tonight, we have meeting minutes to be approved. We have minutes from January 21st, 2022 and January 26th, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the meetings of those minutes?
So moved.
The minutes
Second
from
that.
those meetings. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the meeting mail, we'll move on to that. We have a letter from the Parks Commissioner, Chad Leclerc. And in his letter, he says, "Thank you, Selectmen, for taking the time to read this. I have a lot of ideas and have been approached on many subjects related to the Parks and Rec Department. I figured putting it all in a letter would give you the time to review it individually or together at your own pace and get back to me before we have to go on camera and make anything official. I am on my third term and don't plan on stopping. Time and resources are always the challenge, and I don't even know if any of these things are possible. So I wrote them down and just want you to be able to tell me what you think can be done and what the best approach may be." In his letter, Mr. Leclerc touched upon a few things that he has visions of Pope Park coming. He has would like to resurface the basketball court and would actually like to create more courts. His biggest project at the park would be an upgrade of one of the buildings, which includes removing the existing concession stand, improving the bathrooms, and he states that there's no hot water here at this point, and a concession stand with more space than the one we have currently used now. Lastly, budgets are being due. There's been discussion about Lake Street possibly becoming part, or I think he says part of the Recreation Department, which I am all for. So these are some big ideas, and he also wrote that I have been part of Acushnet my whole life. I love this town, and I talk to many people who visit and feel the same way. Pope Park is one of the main attractions, and I would love to make it even more desirable, as well as other parts of town. Unfortunately, I cannot do this without appropriate funding and a healthy budget. I know budgets are approached in the spring and start in July. I don't know if a position or changes like this can be made mid-year, so I am bringing it all up now just in case. Thank you for your time, Chad Leclerc, Park Rec Department Chairman. Gentlemen, any comments?
I don't. I think Chaz and the park commissioners have a long-term vision of what they'd like to see and be done at the park, and I commend them for that. But with some of the financial restraints that we have, it might not be possible to accomplish it in the near term, but I'm sure we could try to peck away at that improvement list that he has going on, and some discussion when he comes in to present his budget.
I think, look, they're a duly elected board. Technically, they oversee their own budget. One of the things, in talking with Chad and working with previous commissioners, I think there's always been a hesitancy to ask for things. But I guess I'm at that stage of my life with younger children. We've all been there. I know you guys have been there, where you see the value of having a really good park infrastructure, what it does for families. I'll support, I'll go to the mat for this. I think if you look at the buckets of money, one, you've got CPC, which is why it's there. If there is ARPA money, but also just remember, over the long term, our golf course revenue that we generate, once we clear that, can only be used for one thing: capital expenditures that are recreation related.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think it would be really important at this point to provide Chad with some technical assistance with the town planner, and, you know, Mr. Kelly, once he gets settled, to help them come up with a game plan, you know, a short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan that they can present. And I think with that level of thought and forethought, I think we can get there over the long haul. And so I commend Chad for speaking up, because if he didn't, then it'll be the same old, same old. So I'm all in with what they want to do over there.
Very good. Okay. Next on the meeting mail, Firefighters Association, we have a letter. They would like to start negotiations on their contract. And it says, "Dear gentlemen, this communication is to inform the Board of Selectmen that the Acushnet Permanent Firefighters Association, Local 3281, is requesting to meet with the town to begin negotiations for a new contract, as the current contract will expire on June 30th, 2022. We look forward to meeting with you in order to accomplish this task. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much for your time." And that's Matthew Morrisseau. So, Mr. Kelly, could I suggest that phone calls be put out and come up with some dates that might be appropriate, and gentlemen, we can talk about it, how we'd like to handle it.
Sure. I negotiated the last one with them. I'd be more than happy to do so again this time, if the board so chooses.
Very good. As they say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Mr. Gasper, if you want to do that, that'd be great.
Excellent. There you go. Mr. Kelly?
Very good.
Okay, next on the meeting mail, we have a notice from the Fire Chief, EMS Director, regarding a grant award for firefighter safety equipment in the amount of $16,799. And in this letter, it's addressed to Chief Kevin Gallagher. "Dear Chief Gallagher, congratulations. I am pleased to inform you that the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security and the Department of Fire Services has awarded the town of Acushnet $16,799.29 in state fiscal year 2022 funding for the firefighter safety equipment grant program. While the last 2 years have presented great challenges, the fire service in Massachusetts has shone brightly, overcoming every obstacle along the way. Please know that we are deeply appreciative for your continued dedication to the mission of public safety and grateful to be able to provide your department with this important equipment. The contract terms, conditions, and other award documents for this program will be provided to you by DFS. Well, Chief, congratulations for applying for this grant and securing it. Very point man throughout your term. Okay, move on to budget discussions. We have, we're going to start with Heather. Heather Sylvia Chu.
Not used to that
Are
yet.
you hyphenated now?
No, just Chu.
Just Chu, okay.
Not used to it yet.
Director of Council on Aging.
Poor Mr. Kelly, you give him the two of us for his first meeting.
Welcome.
So regardless of whether you choose to level fund our budgets or go with our wish list, the one thing I absolutely do need is the telephone line to be reestablished for the $500. We were working with Mr. Oliver we have a separate phone system than you. We're completely independent, so we aren't able to transfer calls to and from town hall. So, and we were working to change that and to streamline the system and be on the same phone system. So we had removed that $500 with that anticipation. Now that he's left, that program is just stalled, so I need to pay the phone bill. So I'm definitely gonna need to reestablish that $500. And the biggest thing on my wish list, and we've talked about this for years, but I think this is the time that we really need to have a serious conversation, is I need an outreach worker. My job title under my contract is Program Coordinator and COA Director. I'm also wearing the outreach worker hat, so between that and testing, I'm working 44 hours a week on a 35-hour week. What I'm supposed to be working. I don't mind, that's me, I will do that as long as serve at your pleasure. I don't plan on ever leaving again. But what I've learned from you is that we need to discuss positions, not people, and I don't think that that's a sustainable business model. So I think we need to talk about an outreach worker, someone who will handle fuel assistance, food stamps, health insurance needs, things like that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Gaspar.
Did we do this with a grant in the past?
We did. So we had Pat Madursky, who was phenomenal. She was wonderful. But the grant she was funded under was very limiting. She could only service single women over the age of 70 who were low income in Acushnet. And unfortunately, that turned out to be 23 people. She couldn't help men. She couldn't help anybody who wasn't considered low income. If they were married, she couldn't meet with them. So that grant was very limiting.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, she did a phenomenal job. It was wonderful to have her, but that's not the majority of our residents.
No.
Would this be a part-time position?
Absolutely. I wouldn't even, I don't need someone full-time. I don't think that we need to talk benefits. I think, I asked for 19 and a half hours. I mean, if you gave me 16, I just need a body. I need somebody who's gonna be able to help. I mean, open enrollment for Medicare, which runs November to December, my whole 35 hours was meeting with people doing their health insurance. There was no time for anything else, because that's a need that we have in the community.
Mhm.
So, and we've talked about this for years, but I really, with COVID, I mean, people are hurting. They really are. And we have such a wonderful EMS department. I hope you guys know that. I mean, our EMTs won't hesitate to pick up the phone and say, hey, you know what? I was at a call at Mrs. Smith's house. She's got nothing in her refrigerator. And then they're wonderful about doing that. But now I have to decide, okay, I have a meeting about a grant today. So do I go to that meeting as a director, or do I put on that outreach worker hat and go take care of Mrs. Smith? Of course, I'm going to take care of Mrs. Smith, but that's not practical.
Heather, do we work with PACE?
We do. Yep, very closely. We work with them. Our produce distribution was in conjunction with them last year, and we also do fuel assistance with them.
Got it. So you're looking at, would be the $18,000 number, that's what we see here?
I did $18 an hour times, I forgot my budget on my desk,
That's
sorry, I
okay.
ran out.
No, that's- I just
So it was
wanna make sure.
$18 an hour times 52.2 for the week.
Are you, is Acushnet the only COA open, operating
We were
consistently?
until this week. Rochester is reopened. New Bedford is closed until March. Fairhaven remains closed. Mattapoise is also open with a mask mandate like we are. But for a while, we were the only one. We never closed. We thank you to Jim Merritt for building that outdoor pavilion, which I hope Mr. Kelly can stop by and see. During this whole pandemic, we only technically shut down the program for 2 months. We did everything outside.
Well, I have to compliment you for your efforts.
I love what I do. I'm not going anywhere, but I need help.
Yeah, you know, we have an aging population, obviously, everybody knows that, and Heather, you've done a terrific job at our Council on Aging.
Thank you.
Not only there, but as well as the COVID-19 testing, the assistance you give EMA, EMS, and fire is incredible, so,
Thank you.
you know, I'm all about giving you what you need to help our seniors out in the community. If FinCom comes to a crunching of numbers, and we can keep that in mind, and I'm sure you pass that on to FinCom.
Yep.
If it can't be the 19 and a half hours, if it
take
becomes
whatever.
necessary where you needed, you know, a little bit of money, there's gotta be something that we could do there, and I appreciate that gesture, but I'm in support of our seniors, and it's an absolute necessity to take care of our seniors, and you've done a fantastic job, so thank you very much for everything you've done.
So,
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, I guess the question, would we want to have a motion to endorse this budget as submitted to allow it to go forward in the process, or?
I met with Finance Committee already, so.
Yeah, so that's the problem,
We're a little
we're
bit-
in a lag behind.
Either way. I think
Unfortunately, but I
go
think,
on
I
record.
think Selectman Warner's right, even though some of our folks are gonna end up in front of FinCom before they come in front of the Board of Selectmen, I think it's appropriate that if we're satisfied with the rationale behind the budget, we just make a motion to approve as written.
And give that to the Finance Committee so we can signal to them that we're good with this.
Thank you.
Right, so gentlemen, do we have a motion to approve
So moved.
budget as presented?
So
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
A quick plug, if you need COVID testing, we're there till 7.
Thank you.
Very good. Next on the agenda, we have Animal Control Officer, Becky Tomlinson. Good afternoon, Becky, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Nice to have you back.
Thank you, it's nice to be back. Believe me, I was going stir crazy.
All right, well, you're up.
I presented my budget to the FinCom. They said that they had no problems with it. I am only submitting a level funded. Everything else I needed fell under this, so I didn't have a wish list. And so I'm pretty much good to go. I'd like to leave everything the way that it is. Right now, everything seems as though it's going to work out well, and so I really don't have much to say. I'm not asking for anything. Like I said, everything that I did need, I was able to get it with this budget. And the main thing is, as you know, I think you know that I've got my truck, and that has been working well, and
And it's fully equipped now?
we still have some things that we have to do with it, but we have some money left in that budget that we can equip it with, so I don't have to come back before finance for anything. So the police department put in for a radio system for me, and we're waiting for that to come in. And Dan from DPW is putting some, he made the cages for me, and he's doing some other equipment upgrades for me that I need as we go, because I'm transferring from a van to a truck, and I lost a lot of storage room, so, but believe me, I'm 100% very happy that I have the truck.
Excellent.
Handled very well in the snow, and it's been great, so.
I know it took a while for it to come in.
It did, with all the chip problems, but it's here, it's running great, I don't see any problems with it. Dan is there for me if I had any questions, and like I said, luckily, we do still have some more money left in that budget, and that's, well, that's what we're gonna pay for the install for the radio. The police department's gonna pay for the radio itself, but we'll pay for the install. So as time goes on, I'm seeing different things that I may need and talking to Dan back and forth.
Okay. Well, excellent. Gentlemen, any comments?
Great job, Ms. Tomlinson.
Thank you, Mr. Gaspar, greatly
Keep up the
appreciate
good
it.
work.
Thank you.
Yes, how many
You're
years?
talking to an employee that's,
24.
24 years.
Beck, how many hours technically are you, 40?
I'm 40,
Okay.
but I
Again,
work,
another employee, that's a 40-hour employee, and she does way more than that.
I work over that. But
Constantly,
again,
so
like Heather said, I love my job, I love this town.
it shows.
I have no intentions of going anywhere else, but I've always had backing from the Selectmen. All the other departments are fantastic. My police department, DPW. Looking very forward to working with the new TA. He loves animals, so.
I'll tell you some stories.
So I'm just, everything is great, and I just love the open door that I feel comfortable that I can come and speak to you folks when I need something, and hopefully we're just going to move forward.
We will.
So.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, do I have a motion to approve budget as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good.
Hey, gentlemen, have a great night.
Hey,
Have a
thank
great
you for
night.
your time. Okay, just give me a second, get back on the agenda. Okay, so that's for budgets tonight. Okay, so
He's playing in the library, no show.
planning and library could not attend tonight.
Are those budgets level funded? I'm looking at these, they look like to be,
No.
planning looks like a little cut.
So, I know that the salary clerical is, for some reason on this version, is back to like a level funded position, but it's not. It's been increased inside the budget that we have. The previous budget that we were given by the town accountant, they have in salaries clerical 20,000. And that coincides with his pay rate, the clerical's pay rate by the hours that he's working, so it's 20 grand, and they, for some reason, the version that we're looking at tonight says 12,875, and I know that does not make sense, because I have a version right here that we were handed when we were in front of FinCom for the joint meeting, and that says $20,000 in salaries clerical. So it's a modest increase of 74. The bottom line on this version, but I know that Doug, the town planner, is gonna added in some line items for travel, dues, memberships and subscriptions, and a software renewal subscriptions. So I do know that it even increased from the 74, because none of that was put in, and I had a conversation with Mr. Pimentel to give him some ideas of line items so that he could use for training and travel and things of the like. Small amounts of money, gentlemen, but the salaries clerical is definitely not coincided with previous budget we were given for fiscal year '23, so it's not something that maybe we should just have him in and have a conversation
Okay.
quickly, but I know that he's done a little updating for that. He needs travel, dues and subscriptions, and that was never in his line item, so I'm sure he's doing a small modification to that. I know he presented at FinCom as well.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Hello,
Goulart.
how are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
Can't complain, I'm an old guy.
Very good. We're moving along with our meeting here, so we're gonna have you two gentlemen in executive session after it.
Okay.
Discuss the new hires for
Can we sit
golf
here?
course.
Or just,
Most certainly, you can sit there. Excellent. So, we're gonna table these for the next meeting,
Sure.
have these people come in to discuss. Although, I was told by Dina that she might not be able to make our next meeting in person, but she would have to attend via Zoom, depending on when we have it, so.
Whatever she needs to do.
Okay, very good. Okay, next on the agenda, under old business. The Board of Selectmen, as a result of an open meeting violation, the board will now move on agenda item number 1. The purpose of this agenda item is for the board to further discuss and ratify the board's actions taken as to each of the applicants for an annual license approval that were considered and approved during our December 14th, 2021 meeting. Due to a clerical issue, the version of the December 14th, 2021 agenda posted online on the board's website did not include the list of applicants for annual license approval referenced under agenda item 4.2 for the December 14th, 2021 meeting, at which time the board voted to approve applicants for annual license approval. The agenda for today's meeting as posted and also made publicly available on the board's website includes a copy of the complete list of applicants considered and approved for annual licenses during our December 14th, 2021 meeting. The attached list for today's meetings was referenced in this agenda item number 1, includes the identities of each applicant and/or the addresses of the locations to be considered, as well as the type of application that was considered and approved by the board for annual license approval. Please note that the reference list posted along with today's agenda is identical to the list of applicants referenced in and considered and approved for annual license approval during our December 14th, 2021 meeting. Our consideration of this agenda item today will be limited to further discussion of the applications with respect to the board's ratifications of its private actions as to each of the listed applicants for annual license approval.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board ratify its December 14th, 2021 approval of all licenses listed on the attachment to today's agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another violation of note, and this is just brief. The Acushnet Board of Selectmen violated the open meeting law by not accepting or adopting the meeting minutes from June 23, 2020 in a timely manner, which is 3 meetings or 30 days. The board understands its obligation to approve meeting minutes within 30 days or 3 meetings, whichever is later, and will endeavor to do so in the future. The board also submits that all board meetings are available for public viewing through links provided on the town's website. Thank you. All right, gentlemen, on the new business, we have a common vic approval for Golden Net at 164 South Main Street in Acushnet. This was submitted by Chanrith D, doing business as Jack Delicious. Any comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman, I would just bring to the board's attention that the hours on the food establishment permit application from the Board of Health, it says days and hours of operation are 7 days, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and it's not what it says on the menu that's already been made for the establishment located at 164 South Main Street. On that, it says hours of operational, season hours may be different, but Monday through Saturday, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays, it's closed. So I don't know if that application needs to be corrected from the Board of Health. Why it would say 7 days a week, 9 AM to 7 PM, when the menu says Monday through Saturday, 3 PM to 9 PM, Sundays they're closed. So I don't know if that's a correction that needs to take place on their application through the Board of Health.
As I do see on their menu here, they do have Monday, Saturday, 3 to 9, and Sundays closed. So,
On the application, it says days and hours of operation, it says 7 days, 9 AM to 7 PM.
gentlemen, do you want to put the motion forward to approve this common vic license with the corrections, or do you want to table this at this time and bring it up at our next meeting after clarification? I know they want to open up.
I make a motion to approve the license pending a proper inspection by the Board of Health, because I believe that needs to take place before they can open the establishment itself, and pending some action taken on the hours on the application for a correction if needed.
So,
If needed.
So we have a motion put forth pending inspection and hours correction.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, while we're on this subject, I think, we've got a lot of hospitality businesses in town. Not a lot, but we've got folks who've hung in there during COVID. Look at Mr. Goulart walk in the Century House. That's like a shining example. We've got now a town Facebook page. I'd ask that we talk to Laura, but really have some type of section there that's highlighting on a rotating basis our small businesses, in the hospitality sector, because, some people might not know what we have in town, and they're both, our residents, but also out-of-towners. So we've got this, we've got Acushnet Cafe, right? That's a pretty cool place to go hang out, grab a coffee. We've got Dunkin' Donuts, Century House, Blue Lantern, Blue Point. I just think as a town, we could do a better job of promoting our restaurants and let people know that they're open for business, and, just help them with a little promotion there. So I'd like to see an emphasis on that moving forward.
Very good.
I agree.
Well, that's something we can talk to Laura about. Facebook page. And Mr. Kelly, you'll take care of anything concerning this golden net, making sure that the times are addressed correctly and the
Times and the various conditions on the application.
very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Give me a second here. Next on the new business, we have a memo from the assessors regarding Allen Street parcel sewer abatement. Gentlemen, are you familiar with this situation? I believe there's a road. Go ahead, Mr. Gaspar.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This has been, I think this should have been taken care of through the assessor's office. There was some debate when Mr. Noble was here as a TA on how we could rectify this in the past, once and for all, permanently. I believe that these two parcels of land was deemed buildable, and now that for some reason they were deemed not buildable. And the landowner, Mr. and Mrs. Fernandez, were being charged a betterment. So once it was deemed not buildable, from a previous DPW director said it was, and then it wasn't. They got caught up in that controversy, and every year we've been abating it since then. So I would just make a motion to abate both subject properties as presented.
Motion on the table, Mr. Warner.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next under new meeting, new business, town meeting checklist discussion. New matters. So, it kind of works backwards here. We got Board of Selectmen set date for town meeting, which was set at May 9th, 2022, at 7 p.m. Check with moderator, town clerk, and school for availability. So that would be Mr. Kelly. This is your checklist here.
Yes, it is, and I've started the discussion with staff, and I've also going to invite the town planner in involved so we can make sure that their schedule, if they have any articles, will correspond to the master schedule.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Gaspar?
I'd like to discuss the dates. On the next one, it says notice to boards and committees and department heads for articles deadline March 22nd, 2022 at 4 p.m. I think this should be earlier, given time to understand and vet prior to approval. And if you look at the March 22nd deadline, and you go all the way down, they all kind of coincide with each other. Board of Selectmen approved warrant and signed regular schedule of approval. Then we have to send the warrant to town council for review. There's probably a week or 10 days there. And then it says down at the bottom, post warrant, 7 days annual for an annual, post warrant 15 days for a special, which both take place on this date. So that would be, I put down April 25th if you include weekends to post. So I think that we need to move that March 22nd deadline up by a couple of weeks. I either wrote March 8th or March 15th being the latest, so that we have time, because if there is anything for bylaws, it has to go in front of bylaw review committee and things of the like.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it says notice to run in the neighborhood news by April 30th, 2021, so 2 consecutive weeks immediately prior to it. That won't change as long as everything's posted, and those are the 2 weekends right before the May 9th meeting, so those are the 2, that's appropriate, the notice to run in neighborhood news and the like, but to give us some time, depending on how many articles that we have to review, vet it out, give people in the public time to watch meetings instead of doing this all the way up to the home base, and nobody's got time to know what the hell's going on. At town meeting, I think it needs to be done a little bit early. I think we pushed this deadline out over the last several years, and you know, I don't think it's done the town any justice by pushing that date that far out. So I would just make a recommendation to the board that I believe the deadline should be moved up so that we have room for some vetting process, and you know, we're not, some might be more complicated than others to digest and figure out what we're gonna be doing, and then you gotta get it to town council. So all the deadlines really move up due to the April 25th one, if you start working backwards from April 25th from the posting. And then you have to send it to town council for their review. I'm sure town council's gonna be reviewing a lot of different town municipalities, their warrants, so you can't expect them to turn it over in 3 or 5 days. So you give them a couple of weeks, so everything's being kicked back a little bit. I would just ask for a little bit, you know, kill the deadline a little bit earlier to give us more of a buffer space between town meeting and the posting requirements and vetting it out.
Well, March 8th is 5 weeks away. I know that planning is having a bylaw or writing or trying to come up with a bylaw that still needs, I believe, 2 public hearings in between that time.
And advertising.
And advertising, and it also needs to go, as I've been appointed on the bylaw review committee, it's gonna need to go through that also. So, you know, either March or the 8th or the 15th, it's still gonna be tight.
It is.
You know, it's.
That's why I'm asking, at least for some, I mean, it needs to be
Right.
done, there's no way we'll make it.
Right.
And everything's just getting rushed through, and it gives Mr. Kelly some time to get the articles organized, make sure that they're posted in a proper time, get the budget book together for town meeting and things of the like, and we're not just slamming things through, and we're not meeting 2 or 3 times a week to try to get to town meeting. It's kinda looks foolish. And we need time for the articles to come, for us to digest it, read it, come up with our questions and things of the like. So that's all I'm asking, is to give us all a little bit more breathing room than this deadline that was, I don't know where this March 22nd number came from, but
7, well, between the 7 weeks between the 15th and town meeting. It's
Right,
gonna
but-
take a couple, right,
Because
we gotta work backwards, yeah, exactly.
you gotta work backwards from this date of the posting requirements, right? So, and advertising and all that stuff. So I just did a little bit of math and said maybe we'll work out, and you've only taken away, what, 2 weeks? If you go with the 8th, the 15th is really, the 15th is only 1 week prior to what's here. I think you need 2 weeks kickback. By the time they get them in to that date, and then we set a schedule to stop meeting and vetting this out, time's gonna go by quick. We all know that happens, so.
Dave, you got any,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. The only thing I would say is if everybody has been operating under this timeline, the 22nd, you know, do we want to split the difference and give it the 15th just because, you know, in fairness, but it doesn't matter to me either way.
Well,
If
right.
you don't have this stuff baked by now, right, you haven't really thought this stuff.
That's what
Is
I'm
it gonna get
thought.
any better? You know, probably not, so I'm down with the 8th.
right, I mean, the compromise would be run it right out to the Friday and have it in by the end of the week, which is the 11th.
What's that, the 11th?
The 11th.
Yeah, that sounds good, and then we'll
Yeah.
probably have a meeting on the 8th, or
The
maybe
15th.
we'll wait and
Yeah.
digest everything ourselves to do our own due diligence, right?
Okay.
And then come in for the 15th and hit it.
So we'll set that
Yeah,
date.
you're right, so we'll go with a Friday. I
Friday
think that's
night.
what we usually do in the past anyways, like a Friday deadline.
Mhm.
Could I suggest noon
Noon?
Sure,
on Friday rather than 4 o'clock?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's March 11th, the deadline, at 12 p.m.
So
And
plan-
then everything else should fall into place, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, very good, I mean, a little
We'll put
flexibility.
together a timeline. I'll meet with the planner, see if he can fit that timeline. If he can't, there's nothing you can do about
Get a
it.
fall town meeting, fall town meeting, whatever. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, because that gives them 5 weeks. You know, and if they gotta post 2 meetings, they gotta do it 7 days in advance?
They've got to advertise. If
Yeah.
it's a zoning change.
It is what it
So
is.
that gives it, what, like,
It's up to the planning board.
yeah, all right. Okay. Let's see what they come back with. You know, I'm always willing to give a little flexibility, but, you know, this is pretty, you know, we've given 3 days already for the 11th, so, you know, all right. Good enough. All right, Selectmen announcements.
I don't have anything other than, you know, shout out to our DPW, Public Safety, EMA during the storm.
Absolutely,
Great job.
absolutely.
Great job.
Working with the amount of equipment that they had, I think they did a fine job for the town of Acushnet. I know they had a few vehicles go down after the beginning of the storm, so they were limited even with that.
Mr. Chairman, the DPW has about half of the private vehicles that they've had in the past. Of that, 25% in this storm were either damaged or unable to do that. So they had 40%, 35 to 40% of the private help that they've had in the past, and I think they did a fabulous job.
Very good. I also think we were very lucky that we maintained the electrical system. We had electricity during the storm. I know pretty much everyone in town lost it for a short period of time, considering the magnitude, which could have really jammed things up, so we got lucky on that one. It's been quite a few years since we got 24 inches of snow in the area, so.
Mr. Chair,
We were pretty fortunate. It was only the south coast because Eversource deployed its resources down to this region because we were really gonna get whacked. So, you know, kudos to Eversource. You know, I was one of them that lost power, but we did get it right back up within the hour and a half later.
And I do have to also commend the EMA, Jerry Bergeron, and Heather Sylvia, who was here, or Heather Chu, now that she got married. Because they were on standby if things would have got really bad. They would have had to open Council on Aging as a warming center, and that would have needed to be plowed and staffed. So
and
all the people-
transport.
and transporting people to the facilities. So I think the town was on alert. I mean, we kind of lucked out a little.
Mr. Chairman, looking at the weather that's coming in, the DPW could use any help as far as people making sure that catch basins are open. And because if we have 2 days of rain with this snow, we could end up with some flooding. So if someone could go out and just shovel off a catch basin to make sure the 2 days of rain and the melting snow can all get
Oh, yeah.
to the stormwater system and get it off the streets.
Very good point. Very
There's a
good
lot
point.
of big piles over those. You know, unfortunately, we were, and I'd like to commend the DPW and the staff there and anyone that was out, independent contractors that were out plowing for the town, because, you know, I do it for myself and things of the like, and I was out on Saturday with that wind blowing the way it was. The visibility was just so poor. No matter what you do, you could drive up the road. I actually did my road a few times coming back from doing the properties, and I'll tell you, just from the wind blowing, you hit that road and it just covers right back up. So there was really no way to keep up with when the wind's blowing the way it was. And I think DPW for everything that they were shortchanged on in this storm, they did a good job. So I'm proud of them.
Very good. Information only. The following boards, commissions have vacancies. Please consider serving your community by submitting a letter of interest to the Board of Selectmen. Agricultural Commission has 2 alternate vacancies. Beautification Committee has 7 vacancies. There's 1 Housing Authority vacancy. Cultural Council has 13 vacancies, and the Open Space Committee has 1 vacancy. We also have a vacancy for the town moderator on this upcoming May 9th meeting at the school. So any interest in these areas, please submit a letter to the Board of Selectmen, mention Lisa Leonard. Here on the future business, we have the Selectmen's meeting Tuesday, February 15th, 2020 at 4 p.m. And
You around?
I'm around, but Mr.
I do have a schedule, I have a scheduling conflict on that day. Would you gentlemen be able to do it on the 14th? On the Monday? I know it's Valentine's Day for you romantics, but I have a schedule conflict.
We can either do that or bump it to Wednesday. It don't matter.
He's out till Thursday.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's a Tuesday, Wednesday that I have the conflict from a work travel standpoint, so either the Monday or the Thursday.
I know that you're taking us vacation, so
Yes, I'm taking vacation.
What's
I
the
will
deal?
be returning on the 13th of February.
Would the Thursday be better for you guys from a prep standpoint?
I'm open. I can do Monday or Thursday. So I know that's a wishy-washy answer, but
whatever. I mean, I'm
I'd
good.
like
I
to-
do anything that I can to accommodate the board. So
You know.
as far as my schedule goes, missing if we're not gonna have a heavy agenda, you know, whatever. We're gonna be here for an hour and a half.
You want to do it on the Thursday?
let's do it on the Thursday. You can do Thursday. You're
Yeah.
back Thursday.
I think that
Okay,
might.
even if we move it up, maybe we want to move it up to, well, we got the, what I'm thinking is we have budgets, right? So,
Do it 3 o'clock then.
Yeah,
So
fine.
some of these folks that are already here.
People who are here,
Right,
for
people
sure.
are
Yeah,
here.
yeah. We can
Do it 3
Thursday.
o'clock.
Okay.
Get the budgets in there and let's bang out some budgets and, you know, it'll give you some time to work with the, Mr. Kelly and Lisa to get the booklets all set up. You get back on Monday, it gives you a little bit of time.
Well, I'm
The
passing
meeting don't
out.
have to be posted until Tuesday
yeah,
at 3
sure.
p.m. So
Right, right.
3
you'll have
o'clock.
some time to work that out.
17th, yeah, that's perfect.
That's St. Patrick's Day, though, so, only kidding.
Gotta do it.
Have some green beer. Anyway, so that's, so for Selectmen's meeting, that will be Thursday, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong month here on my calendar. My bad. So we're going February, Thursday, the 17th,
Yep.
at 3 p.m. Very good. Gentlemen, we're going to adjourn to executive session on the General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A2, to discuss strategy, sessions, and preparation for negotiation with non-union personnel. Calvin Downing, Kevin Andrews, Gary Bielski, Mike Lewis, Andra Ramos, Todd Kroschel, or to conduct negotiations with non-union personnel if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the position of the public body, and the chair so declares, and the board will not return to public session. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Roll call vote, Mr. Warner.
Yes.
Roll call vote, Mr. Gaspar.
Yes.
And I am a yes. We are going to adjourn to executive session, not to return to public session. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.